Hello and welcome to Loving Me, Myself, and Life with me, Jody Misiak. I am super excited because I'm back. This is my first episode since I've taken a break since summer. So I'm so excited. I have so many new, awesome topics I'm going to talk about. And one other little thing, my husband usually does my editing, and I'm so grateful for all the effort and love he puts into my podcast. However, I try to practice what I preach. And I try to help my husband do the same and my family, like with my kids and things like that. And we're trying to find a new balance this year. There's going to be some things that I'm going to be changing within my family, and I'm looking forward to sharing what happens along the way with that. However, I'm also trying to find a new way that my husband doesn't have to spend so many hours editing my podcast, because he does edit, and he sometimes sacrifices our evenings together on Saturdays. We only have 2 nights together because of our different schedules, and it makes me frustrated. I'm not gonna lie, I get frustrated because I'm like, we're leaving it to the last minute. And I took some time this summer to really figure out what can we do differently. So I am going to bring more on authenticity to this podcast. My husband doesn't edit like crazy things out. If I slip up, I'll say, hey, sorry, Alex, can you take that out? I'm not going to do that anymore. And if I say too many ums, I'm going to say too many ums, and I'll try my best not to. And I do apologize if I do. The thing is, I'm going to be bringing my authentic, oh my gosh, there we go. I already messed up once. It happens. I'm human, and I want to bring that to this podcast. I've been talking to some other people that have done podcasts and that are still doing podcasts, and they just go. They put it on and just go. And I sat with that for a little bit. I'm like, you know what? I'm all about showing up as me. So if I do mess up, or if I have to pause to think about what I'm saying next, I'm going to do it. And it's just going to happen. So we're going to treat this like it's going live. And I can't change it. Whatever happens here, happens here. And I think it's going to be the best for you. So I'm just showing up completely as myself, authentic as I can be. And then it also gives my husband some time, one, to spend more time with me, and also so he can take care of himself as well, because we only have so much energy to put out. And I know he loves editing these podcasts, and he just really does. So for the longest time, I always said, hey, look, we'll figure something else out. And this past little while, I've realized that we really do need to take a shift, just like we're going to be doing other things in our household to kind of shift this year. Pretty much like a pause year is what we're calling it, but I'll talk more about that later, because it's just new and fresh and we haven't even started it yet. Just something that we're going to be pivoting this year, as I'm just really trying to refine balance, because truth be told, I'm still healing candida. It's manageable, but if I mess up and I eat something for too long, like if I have sugar more than 1 or 2 days in a row, or if I'm drinking too much alcohol, aka the summer, I have to rebalance everything again. So I have to be really mindful of how I'm taking care of my body and energy out versus energy in and all that fun stuff. So we're just kind of pivoting and doing things. And I actually had this huge aha moment this week where I realized that I'm sick of feeling sick. And if I have to never eat sugar again, I will do that because I want to show up for you guys. I was moping around this week because there is a cider stroll in town, and I wasn't going to drink cider because I stay away from it because of the sugar content. And I didn't. I had a good time. The sun was out. It was beautiful. And I'm literally just coming out of it a week. Oh, not quite a week later. It's been a few days, like 4 or 5 days. 4 or 5 days, yeah. And it happened Saturday, and now it's Thursday. And I'm finally just starting to feel better again. I still have a few headaches from it and things like that. But I realized that I don't want to do this anymore. I don't want to play this roller coaster with my life anymore. I want to have energy so I can show up, because this week I was like, I have so many things I want to do. I have so much I want to share and put out into this world. And I can't do it if I'm having headaches and feeling like garbage. It's not, so I know how to manage it and keep it. So, anyways, I'm going to try my darndest this year to really show up for you, for my beautiful community, and for people that I haven't met yet. So, thank you for being here. And I know I went on a little bit of a, off what I'm going to actually share about today. I just wanted to talk into balance, right? We're now getting into the fall, and I always find this like fun little time. It's a transition between, for me, the slowness of the summer where we don't have to wake up in the mornings as early and we get to just kind of lounge around, go to the beach and stuff. And then into the fall schedule of school activities and things like that. So anyways, I did a huge cleanse and then that backfired as well. But I'll talk into that. Like I said, I have so much to share. So if you're just landing on this episode today for the very first time, I encourage you to try some other ones as well, because this is me kind of bouncing back into my routine. Not bouncing, flowing into this routine. And I just kind of, went on this little fun, ranting, beautiful journey at the beginning. Anyways, thank you again for being here. Today, I want to actually talk about something I just saw floating around the internet, a term that was like, it struck a chord with me. And it is called well-being burnout, and how people are feeling this well-being burnout, that they're just feeling exhausted from trying to live like just really take care of themselves, or well-being, right? So being in the field that I'm in, I was like, ooh, let me look into this and I want to talk about it because I think it's super important. If you're trying to take care of yourself and you're feeling burnt out, that kind of defeats the purpose of trying to take care of yourself, right? So I wanted to share about my own personal experience about this. When I first started going through my empowerment coaching program through the SWAT Institute, I had this same moment where I'm like, I don't want to do this forever. Like when I really realized that healing and, there was no end to self-development, like personal development. There was no end. I thought if I could do all this stuff, I'd get to this place and I'd be empowered. Yay me, I wouldn't have to do it ever again. And the moment I found out that that's not the case, that we're always working on ourselves, I was like, no, I can't keep up this pace. So here's the thing, and I'm talking about from the healing part of the well-being right now, but I'll talk more into different things as well. But the thing is with healing, or even anything really in the well-being journey, it is a journey. So if you try to do too much all at one go, and it's not sustainable or attainable, you're gonna feel burnt out. And that goes back to when I did like a cleanse at the beginning of the school year. I was like, I'm gonna clean out everything that feeds candida. I'm gonna take coffee out. Like I took it all out. And I'm gonna be completely honest with you. I was the most miserable person to be around. My friend messaged me for a walk that week, and I'm like, I can't do it. I could not be around anybody. As it is, I was not the nicest person in the house, and I felt so bad for my husband and my kids because I was just miserable. And then I had to take a pause and be like, whoa, I can't like this. So anyways, long story short, I did it too fast. I just wanted to clean out my body of candida and get back to normal. The thing is, though, sometimes we can't rush through the process. Each step is important. It's like climbing a ladder. If you're trying to take it like 3 at a time, or even just jump from the bottom to the top, you're probably not going to make it. Or if you do, it's going to hurt. Like if you have to keep going up and down. So it's taking it one step at a time. And that goes with healing, well-being, like taking care of your body. So that's a huge component, is take it slow, take it one step at a time. And then there is something that really I've just really discovered recently is Is it attainable? Can I continue this long term? And any habit we pick up that we want to create in our lives, it's looking at it and go, can I do this every day? Or can I do this how many ever days you want to do it? With sleep, like focusing on sleep. Realistically, what time do I need to go to bed then? And it's really looking at the picture, the whole picture, and doing that as well. And I lost my train of thought. See, this is where Alex would come in and edit these things. So I'm just going to keep going and hopefully I'll pick that train up again. And I want to talk about another thing about how this burnout can happen. Burnout can happen when, one, we're not doing it, we're not realistically setting, like expectations are aligned with reality, right? Like we're trying to take on too much too fast. The other thing is, and I remembered my thing. Sorry, I'm going to go back. With yoga, as I started doing Ashtanga yoga, the whole thing is about practicing it 6 days a week. So you have one day off. Here's the thing though, a lot of things I've read is it needs to be attainable. Like if you're not going to do the practice for an hour and a half to 2 hours every day for 6 days, then it's finding what works for you instead of what doesn't. So, I do a shorter practice on Mondays, Wednesdays, Fridays, and then Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturdays are longer practices. So it's just finding what works. And it's giving yourself that grace as well. So having, a plan, being realistic, and then also at the same time, like being flexible with your plan. Because if it's stressing you out, it's not actually helping your well-being, right? Because even with my yoga practice, it's not supposed to, but I'm doing it for many reasons. And part of it is to help with stress. And if my yoga practice schedule is stressing me out, then I have a problem. So one of the biggest things, again, is making sure that you're setting realistic goals that are attainable long-term. Like this is something you should look at and be like, okay, I can totally do this for a long time. I can see myself doing this. So it comes back to taking it one step at a time, building blocks, building a foundation. Maybe if it's yoga, maybe try 15 minutes a day first or work your way up, depending on what it is. Or, adding movement in 2 to 3 times and building up, whatever it is. So like slowly building it up. Now I want to come back to the other part that I was talking about when I, remembered the whole yoga thing. Is the other part is when we're looking outward at other people. How are other people doing their well-being? How are they taking care of themselves? And if we're constantly setting our bar of how we think we should be taking care of ourselves based on somebody else's bar, where their well-being is, that's where overwhelming burnout, all that fun stuff happens, is when we're not looking inward and setting our own things. So here's one, for an example in my own life, I can occasionally get in the habit still. I don't do it very often anymore. I used to look and compare my life to people all the time. And occasionally I slip, and it's usually around parenting, where people will be doing all these activities. And I'm like, oh, should I be doing more with my kids? Should I have them in more things? And when I have that question, I don't beat myself up about it. I'm going, okay, this is a good time to reflect. Am I? And ask myself questions. But it's not like, oh man, I really need to be doing more because other people are doing more. It's, oh, am I holding my kids back? Like it's having that conversation with myself first, then talking to my kids and just my husband, the whole thing, and looking at it. And in fact, we've learned that we picked up too much, our family and I. So this year, we're not comparing ourselves to other families. We can be the weird, crazy family that are doing weird out of the box thinking. I've already had a couple conversations with people and they're like, whoa. Anyways, like I said, I'll share that later as we get into it. It'll probably come in the new year because we're really stepping back come January because we made some commitments till then. So anyways, when we look outward though, that's when we can get overwhelmed because we're then living with we're living from this place of social expectations, right? When you think you need to do something because society has told you. And I know I've talked about this before a little bit about how we think we need to do something because society has told us to do it. Really, a big thing is being kind and loving and showing up. But when it comes to your own well-being, you know what you need. And if you don't, there are steps you can take to listen from within. Our bodies are really good indicators of what we need. And so are our hearts. So if you slow down, just be with yourself for a little bit. And it doesn't have to be for very long. Journal, things like that. Meditate. I love yoga because it's movement and breathing. And then at the end, meditating and relaxing through it. And for me, it's really beautiful. And I have some really good things. The other thing that always helps is when I'm showering because it's my quiet moments in the day. And water is very always calming and inspiring to me. So it's really important when you're looking at how to take care of you is going within. Because we can get overwhelmed by, oh my goodness, you Google self-care and there's like a million different things you can do. And I have things pop up all the time on my phone or through the Google, just things popping up because I've been searching things for topics that I'm going to talk about. And it's just a million, how many steps you should walk in a day. And people are changing the things constantly. So it's just about going inward because there's just so much noise outward. And I hope that makes sense. And then I want to go back to the healing part where I thought that it was all I was so overwhelmed. It's important that, you know that you don't have to always be healing either. That it's a journey of ups and downs. So say through the transition period, for me, I'll just use this as an example lately, is from the summer to the school year, right? Summer break to school year. That's a transition. And I go inward a lot more then. And then as I re-establish habits and routines, then I can flow more and it doesn't feel as much work because they're habits that I don't even have to think about anymore. It's like brushing your teeth. They're just happening. I get up, I do my brushing my teeth, all the things, and then I get on my yoga mat and I practice. It just becomes a part of me. And same with healing. There's going to be some time where we dive deep or even with different well-being activities. They'll feel maybe a little awkward at first, or if you are doing some deep healing, it might be a few months where you just go on that journey and then kind of step back from that, breathe, live, explore in a different way. But it's not like a straight line to A to B or to B to C. It is a very curvy thing. And if you look at my own personal journey, it's curvy, windy, knotty, it's just all over the place. Okay. So a big component to all this is when you're taking care of you, well-being, right? That's the topic of the day. It's about taking care of you. And when you're focused on taking care of you from a place of love, going, I'm going to do a yoga practice, or I'm going to go for a walk, or I'm going to eat better, or I'm going to sleep for 7 to 9 hours, whatever your well-being part is. I'm going to get to the gym, whatever it is doing it from a place of love. I'm doing this, XYZ, or fill in the blank with what you would like to do because I love myself. So it all comes down to creating that deeper, loving relationship with yourself. Now, does that happen overnight? No, it doesn't. I'm sorry. It doesn't. It takes time. And again, like anything, it's a journey. There are days where I beat myself up still, and I've been on this journey. Now, my turnaround time for beating up myself is much shorter than it was 20 years ago, 10 years ago, 5 years ago. But when we're going through things, we can, it's like any relationship. You have some ups and downs. It's not always perfect because there is no such thing as perfect. You're going to have disagreements and arguments, and that includes with yourself. Sometimes out loud, sometimes in your head. It just happens. But it's doing these things from a place of love, wherever you are at that time, right? So it's like, I'm going to move my body because I want to feel good. I want to have energy because I want to show up in this world. Like, it's having those moments, right? Those kind of conversations with yourself. Not like, oh man, I want to lose weight, so I'm going to have to go to the gym, right? It's not having those negative conversations with yourself. It's doing it from a place of love. And I could go on from all about this a lot more, because like even with my candida overgrowth, it's been quite the journey, and a love-hate relationship, no less, where I've had to really dive deep and really be more gentle with myself, but at the same time not like tough love with a mix of soft love, like just tender, loving care. And at the same time be like, hey, Jody, like get yourself together. You got this. Like it's a journey. Everything is. So if you are starting, a new habit or a new routine to better yourself, make you feel better, more confident, energetic, empowered, motivated, inspiring, just happier, because I know the more I move my body, the more happy I am, because you're feeling good. So it's about coming from a place of love. So we're not going to find love comparing ourselves to other people's routines or what they're doing. Now, that doesn't mean you can't use that as a guideline, right? Like that's what I do when I hear people say, hey, their kid's in this or their kid's in that. I'm like, I wonder if our kids would like that. But it isn't like, oh man, I should put my kid in that. It's information, and then figuring out if that works for you or not. Because what might work for somebody else might not work for you. There are some people's schedules out there that I look at and I'm like, if I had to do that every day, I couldn't give how I give. I wouldn't have energy to do this podcast. I wouldn't have energy to love my kids the way I do. I'm like, I wouldn't be able to show up in the world how I want to if I had those kind of schedules. I know it because I've tried it, and I'm like, that's not for me. But that doesn't mean that other people aren't thriving with those types of schedules. It's not me to judge or figure out. That is their life and their responsibility. All we can do is show up the best we can based on how we feel, our needs, our wants, and our, inner circle of people. So our family, because what I do does affect my kids. And when I'm doing too much and I'm a grumpy mom, I'm like, ooh, that's not the mom I want to show up as. That's my personal being, though. Like, we don't need to worry about what other people are doing. It's about taking care of our own well-being. So to wrap things up, I personally think that the whole well-being burnout word, term, phrase that's happening is because we can get lost in other people's stuff, what they're doing, how they're showing up in the world. But one size does not fit all. There's clothing in all sorts and sizes, like so many different things. And that comes down to our own well-being as well. And it's figuring out what you need. So what could you do other than slow down and just talk to yourself, journal, is sitting down and just making a list of things that make you happy. Maybe activities you'd like to try. Like I love Zumba, and it was offered here. I think it still might be offered here, but it was lined up with a day that just didn't work. So I did try it and I did it for a whole session, and I'd love to go back. The thing is, though, it was just like it was stressing me out because I couldn't get there as easily. So it's trying something. Maybe it works. Maybe it doesn't. Now that I'm talking about it, maybe I'll try it again, and maybe I'll have it on a different day. The thing is, like, it's finding out what works for you and then what doesn't work for you. And it's creating a list. Like, it can just be a fun, like, hey, things I'm going to try list, or things that bring me joy. And it could just even be as simple as sleep. Like, I know for me, if I'm not getting enough sleep, like everything is off. Like, I shouldn't say my whole day is off, but like I don't feel as well. And I know long term that sleep is so important because I've gone with very little sleep from time to time. So anyways, make a list or a few. And again, like journaling is a good place too. Like, if I could do anything, I would, and then fill in the blank and just kind of write and see what happens. What, and then you don't have to do it right away, but like fitting it into your life. And just remember, what other people are doing, none of your business, and what people think of you is none of yours. Like, you know what I mean? Like, stay in your own lane. And I say this with so much love because we can get really lost when we're looking at somebody else's compass, right? If we're following somebody else's GPS, we're not going to bring it home to us and our well-being. So I say this all with so much love because I've been there. I've done things not really realizing why I was doing them. And then remember, when you are adding things into your life, is it attainable? Can you do this long term? And take it one step at a time. You got this. Thank you so much for listening. I am so grateful for you. And I have so many fun topics coming up. I have some really cool things. I'm working my website to fix it up and change it up, update it, give a little, sprucing up. And I have some really cool stuff in the works. So if you want to know, to stay in the know, you can join my community and you just go to my website, jodymisiak.com, and you can just join my community. And right now I'm only doing an email a month and just gives you updates on what's going on. And it gives you topics to the Loving Me, Myself, and Life podcast as well. Thank you again for being here. I am so grateful for you. And remember, just one step at a time. You got this. Have a beautiful day. Bye for now.